Welcome to the Coaching Life Podcast. I'm Chris, here with my good friend and coach, Pat Martin, sporting his $35 hat.
This one was only 22. That's how.
Oh, discount for the team.
Actually,
How much?
this
If
one
I
was
say
made
to you, I
wrong.
would like a hat from my alma mater, and I got to pay you by October 12th. How much do I owe you?
They're not for sale even.
Oh, okay.
So they're $35. Thanks for the plug there.
Yeah.
No, no, wants one.
You want one? Better get on it
So
by the end of the week.
the price. The first year that we ordered these 4 years ago. 4 years ago, they were $22.
The actual cost.
The actual cost. I've never, because, people are like, well, you could sell them. You can sell them, but you can't make money selling them because you'd have to sell so many of them.
Yeah,
Because then what are you
it's
gonna
not a
sell them
fundraiser.
for?
It's not
Yeah.
a fundraiser. You're just selling them for publicity and
Right.
recouping the money that you
Right.
spent.
So,
Yeah.
we've ordered and we've had extras, and I've,
Yep, you're good.
I've given people some people bought some, but that never fails. Someone always wants, hey, where do I get a hat like that?
Yep.
Where can I
Yep.
get a hat like that? Because the prices went up so much, I'm not going to be able to buy the program. It's not going to be able to buy the surplus that we have in the past. So I'm posting.
So you're taking orders.
Yeah, if anyone wants one, to add to the order,
Gotcha.
we can make that happen.
Gotcha.
But outside of that, it's
Yeah, you can't gamble and say, well, we're going to go ahead and order an extra 50.
Right.
And assume that 50 people will want them. I see.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you could always switch to the game. Much cheaper hat, good quality.
Do you see this hat? That's a nice.
You
hat.
told me it was the nicest hat you've ever
I
owned.
think it is.
Yeah.
That's a nice.
I mean, you're paying for a swoosh too.
That's a quality hat.
It
man.
is. It looks like it's a good looking hat.
It is the best hat that I've owned.
That's saying something. I've got a lot of hats.
Do you think your game, like, what is the game, the brand of the hat?
Yep.
They actually manufacture
Yep.
it. Okay.
It's the same as Richardson or Puka.
What do you mean it's
Those-
the same?
I mean, it's the same. You know how they're a brand in and of themselves.
Oh,
like
yeah,
Puka
yeah.
and Richardson. Richardson makes a really good hat.
I like
and for years.
Richardson
So I've basically worked with 3 different companies on hats. Well, 4 when you count New Era, but New Era is like a whole nother league because it's.
But there's really not.
You've
much
gotta
this
get
year. I mean,
fitted.
you said the hat you're getting this year was. I mean, there's a deal. The game
Yeah.
gives you a deal.
Yep,
But if
you
you
buy
broke it
60,
down, it was
if you
$25,
Buy
right?
60, you get 24 free. Yeah, and that's a really good deal. You break it down, so we're buying 94 hats, I think, for this season, and the reason we're buying so many is because we have 3 different hats. We have a white hat, a green hat, and then I'm adding a third hat this year,
When are you going to wear the third hat?
a black hat. We wear our black jerseys because we have those black jerseys too.
That's right.
We have a
Yeah.
third jersey, so you can mix and match all of those different styles, and it doesn't change your price. You get the same deal. And so essentially 94 hats for the price that we're paying, it comes down to where it costs us a little more than $18.
And you have hats left over from the previous year. I asked you that.
We have a
the other day,
handful
'cause,
of those
How do you
left
know
over.
you're going to have enough? Because that's my worry.
Yeah.
And what's the turnaround on those?
I'll have them by New Year's.
Yeah, so these are 6 to 7 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't order enough,
Like I ordered them this week.
yeah. But if you don't order enough, you might be in trouble by the time you hand them out. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to get
Well,
it.
and that's also one reason why you just want to keep wearing the same hat
Yeah,
every
true.
year because
Which I've got
most
a-
of your kids will have one from last year.
Yeah, there's some logistics differences too between Eastern and Megs too.
Logistics.
Yeah, like your kids keep their hat, pay for it.
They do pay for it.
Yeah.
Oh, your kids turn their hats back in?
No,
Oh.
no, they don't. But they pay for it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they pay for it because they're keeping them. And
which makes sense.
right.
But that's an incentive to keep it and have it going into next year. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah.
You-
yeah.
Do you need another hat? Do you need to buy another hat? No. I got mine from last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. And as
Yeah.
long as it looks decent, like
Yeah.
and honestly, after a couple games, then none of them look decent anyway. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
not.
true. They're all.
That's not that big.
I've
of a
got
deal.
an older one out in the car that's just shot.
For me personally, I get a new one every year because I don't know. My hats sweat. Like I don't notice this on other people, but I sweat in a hat like crazy, and to get those white lines. Like my whole green hat turns white in practice, and so I have a practice hat and I have a game hat set of
You'd
hats.
stop trying to hit fungo over the fence. Maybe you wouldn't.
That's
sweat
what
as
it
much.
is. Yeah, whooping people in fungo golf.
I noticed that we just
Are we
ruined-
chit-chatting?
Yeah, we ruined our.
Yeah, we lost some people
our,
apparently. I actually did have a couple students who told me. She said, this one student said, "I'll be honest with you, I actually kind of like the chit chat at the beginning of podcasts I listen to."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I didn't say 100% of people left the data shows that most people do." So anyway, enough with the chit chat. Let me ask you something. Suppose a player misses practice or is chronically late to practice or posts something dumb on their social media. What should a coach do? Should you sit them? Should you go ahead and play them? Should you do something else?
Jeez.
That's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
The topic of conversation today. We always like to have a topic that we hammer out here, that we solve all the problems of youth sports and high school sports here. That's the whole purpose of this podcast, to solve everybody's problems. And that is called sarcasm. We don't solve problems. We talk about them, and hopefully we'll create some solutions that can be useful. But today we're going to tackle one of the most polarizing topics probably in high school sports particularly, and that is discipline and accountability. Mm-hmm. Discipline and accountability. Why is it hard? What makes this a difficult topic? Like, what makes this hard? I mean, I think there are probably different pockets to that, right? Like I always think of the three perspectives that I wrote Building Champions with: the coach, the parent, the player. And each one of those has a perspective on how discipline is carried out. And
Well, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to muddy up the conversation or not, just a thought, but I think one of the challenges that we have is there's, depending on what the player does, there may already be rules in place to discipline that player. So, like as a coach, I find, and as a parent,
so that's a category, right?
Yeah.
Is this a rule that has been broken from the school district?
From the school? Yes.
The state association, perhaps?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
Or a team rule. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I think that's, good way to break that down. State, school, team.
Like grades, for example. And one of the questions is,
I was thinking about grades.
If
I
a
was
kid,
thinking about the topic because, my argument is everything should be a case-to-case basis. Everything should be because it.
All right, we are going to debate a little bit.
Oh yeah,
That's
we're
good.
going to
That's
debate,
good.
and that's why personality. I think typically when hard rules are set,
Softy, people pleaser.
they're bet because the people that you have you don't trust the people that you have in your leadership role to make the right decisions. Right. So as a athletic coach, if my athletic director comes to me and says we're going to suspend this player because he did this, my initial thought is, okay, so you're taking the discipline out of my hands. You're not allowing me to handle the situation. So,
and there's probably a lot of factors that go into play. There's scenarios
definitely a
like
lot of
that,
factors
because is that them coming to you saying we're going to discipline the player because of this, and the this is something that he did on the field, something that he did in relation to baseball, or something he did off the field in relation to school, or something he did outside of school, outside of baseball, but in the public. Like those are all different.
Yeah,
those are all different. Yeah,
to complicate it even
scenarios.
more, you have that parent perspective, you know. So, you know, you get a call from the teacher and says, we're giving your kid detention because he did this. We expect you to do something about it. Well, you've already done something about it.
Yeah.
So you're either going to do the discipline, you're either going to take care of the discipline, or you're going to allow me as the parent to take care of the discipline. Which one's it going to be?
Yeah, so there's another set of categories there. So one set of categories is there structure in place that defines what the discipline is, such as the grading scale. Right? You get Fs, then you can't play because your school system has this policy that's created because OHSAA says that you have to have a policy, right? And then you have on-field stuff versus off-field stuff. As coaches, how is that handled? I'll give you I'll give you a real life example of something that just happened a few days ago. So you looked like this, like, oh, hey, let's just get into the nitty gritty. I won't use names or anything, but we're at the football game the other night, last Friday night, working our concession stand down there on the track, right? And we had an adult come to one of our coaches, and something happened, like somebody threw something and it landed in their hair, like candy or something, and the way that it was brought to one of our coaches is that was a baseball player that did it, and so my thought there is, is it a baseball player? Like, that's a child of a parent who's probably here somewhere, right, at the game. Like, is that my responsibility as a baseball coach? I mean, granted, it's disappointing to hear that one of the kids that plays for me did something that they shouldn't have done, something mischievous, right? But at that point, like, we're not in baseball season; it's football season. Like, we're not doing any baseball activities. Like, this wasn't a kid who was working at our concession stand. You know, this was just somewhere out there. Some kid who happens to play baseball did something, and it made this person upset, and they wanted a coach to do something about it.
Yeah,
that's a scenario. That's a scenario.
Yeah, and I'm okay with, like, if I was in your shoes in that, I would be okay with the adult coming to me and telling me that.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm not saying that
oh, no,
we didn't care about her problem. Yeah.
And I would take care of it, but I'm going to take care of it. You may not know how I'm going to take care of it, right? And
thank you for bringing that issue to me.
Yes.
I feel responsible because this is a kid that I coach.
Yes, but also, if you're going to go tell the principal now, then don't tell me.
Yeah.
If you're going to go, if you're going to continue to escalate this, if you're going to tell the principal, you're going to go tell the parent. You're going to pull the kid aside and give him a tongue lashing.
My encouragement would be to start with the parent.
Sure.
Right? Because that's who's ultimately responsible for the child.
Or, I mean,
in a situation that's off the field, out of season, not that I don't care.
I guess I would start with the kid, depending on how old.
Oh
they
yeah,
are.
absolutely.
Because I've been in crowds before where, Meg's athletes have, been doing something stupid.
Yeah.
And whatever it was, and I've said, hey,
yeah,
you're out in public, check yourself a little bit, and without the need to get into, at that point, if it continued or something like that, maybe you escalate it. But, so I send out an email every year to our faculty at Meigs, and I ask them to let me know if there's any problems in class with certain students and things like that.
Yeah, I've done that too.
I wonder, so the first couple of years I did that, there was a lot of communication. And the last couple of years, there hasn't been as much. And I wonder...
Your kids are getting better.
I hope. That'd be great, although I doubt it. I doubt it. And I wonder, why. I wonder why that communication has stopped. Maybe they're not getting... They don't think, it's worth reaching out to me because I'm not doing anything about it. I don't know.
Well, or maybe you're not doing what because again, what they think you should do, right? I mean,
exactly.
yeah, the whole issue with discipline and accountability is that it's not always black and white in how you handle it. It's like you said, there are things that are case by case basis that require relationship. That based on the relationship, you handle it a certain way.
Yeah, I think so, and I think I know you have a handbook. We have a handbook, and we don't have rules in that handbook.
You don't have any kind of expectations, guidelines, things like that?
Yes. But to me, a rule
like
is
team policies.
A rule is once you get 3 outs, you get to hit. There's an action and a response.
Yeah.
In the handbooks, we don't lay out punishment. We're defining a standard.
Yeah.
Is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Which and we've talked about this before. We can write that down and put it on the wall and do whatever we want with it. If that's not who we are, if that's not how we behave, then that's
right. Your real culture is the behavior.
Yeah, it's not worth the paper it's written on. So, but that vision's there, and it's the standard that you want to push. So, in that scenario that you bring up, I'm disappointed because to me, I know that if that's a student if that's a high school student, I know we've discussed how we behave out in public to not embarrass ourselves or our families or our teammates or our school. So to me, they're not living up to the standard. The how I'm going to handle that it's not written out in that in that handbook, but I will handle it in some way. And I think a lot of times we run into those rules that are made, and that it causes issues, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, or maybe does more harm than good in different situations. And I've got we drug test our student athletes, which are off the cuff. It's like, oh yeah, they should be. It's good. It's good to drug test student athletes, and I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I would like a study or a deeper conversation into the penalties that come along with failed drug tests, and the way that we word those drug tests are alcohol and drugs. Well, what do students? I mean, when students fail drug tests in Meigs County, it's because they've smoked marijuana. It's not because they've drank alcohol, or it's not because they're doing nicotine. It's because they smoked marijuana. That's what we find, right? That's what we're policing with those tests. And that, to me, that charge came from a very different world than what we live in.
Yeah,
now.
it is.
The
That's
war
true.
on drugs, and it's. And I'm not saying kids should be doing it, but it's more socially acceptable now than anything else. But that's what we're catching. Even though we say alcohol, if a kid's drinking and driving, right, they get caught out drinking or something like that. Of course, there's that it fits there, but very seldom does that rule apply to that scenario. It just doesn't happen as much. We're catching kids that for whatever reason they're going out and they're doing.
But does it also have to do with how long certain things stay in your system as well? I mean, like that.
Well, sure, yeah.
I mean, if you're going to get somebody for drinking, then it's obvious, right?
Yeah, it's going to be immediate, right? Yeah. So,
because they're coming in the morning and saying, "Hey, you just got selected for a random drug test." Well, I've slept all night long. I mean, but if they had smoked marijuana the night before, it's probably going to show up, right?
Or it might have been even
within
longer
3
than
days.
that. Yeah,
I really don't know, but
I know it.
Yeah.
Certain, at Meigs we have. So I think the first infraction is you're suspended for a week.
So that's a district infraction, right? Which it's rightly so. I mean, I don't disagree. I agree with that.
That it's an infraction.
Well, yeah. I mean, for a couple reasons. One, it's against the law. You're underage, right? And so that's a rule. That's a law.
Sure.
I mean, you've just broken it. And another reason why I think there should be rules for our athletes is because they should be held to a higher standard. I'm fine with just.
What do we
I
do
think
to-
you said you just drug test athletes, not normal students or students that don't play anything, right?
Right.
And you don't like that.
No, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I think,
And I'm, you know, and
I think if we're going to drug test our athletes, we
I
should drug
agree
test
to it.
every adult that works at the school
Yeah,
district.
yeah, I
including
agree.
myself.
I agree as well. Like if it truly is random, and it's something that we're doing for the whole school, you know, because if it's good for an athlete, it's good for anybody as well, a teacher or a
important
student
for
or
an
whatever. If
athlete, it's important for everybody.
Yeah. But I'm still okay with it just being an athletic thing, because I do believe that you are accepting a privilege.
But isn't
it's not
that-
a right to be an athlete. It is a privilege.
Sure.
And it comes with greater responsibility and higher standards.
But don't we define that standard as the coach, as the head of the programs?
Well,
So that's
the
why-
athletic department does, the principal does, the athletic director, the coaches. Yeah, I mean, there's a family of.
When's the last time a
family
student has
tree
been
of-
disciplined for a speeding ticket by the school?
Right. I mean, there are layers to it, right? There are levels to what we
Well, I mean,
decide to discipline, what we
A
decide
speeding
not to.
ticket is actually a crime for. I mean, do
Yeah,
kids
it
get
is.
charged? They don't get charged with a crime if they fail a drug test.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they don't. So I mean, a speeding ticket's a crime.
I think in some districts they do.
They do discipline.
If you fail a drug test,
Charge them with a crime.
I think so. Don't quote me on that, but I
have to look that
I
up.
feel like that is
Regardless,
part of the
that
process.
just makes
at
it
some
equal. That just
districts.
makes it equal to a speeding ticket. It doesn't make it less.
Sure.
So I don't think it, moots the point that no one cares about speeding tickets, and that's a crime that people are failing, or not wearing your seatbelt, or whatever it is. I feel there's. So
Well,
I have a problem with pointed focus.
So what if let's say a kid goes over to the Walmart here, in the spring during your season, he plays for you, he shoplifts, steals something, gets caught, gets arrested, has to go to court,
He's not going to get suspended.
has the punishment that is required by the law, right? Accepts that punishment. I'm caught. Yeah, I did it. Does he receive school? Does he two different categories? Does he receive school punishment for that as well? And does he receive punishment from you and your program?
It's a fair question. I've only had
I think scenarios is a really narratives are probably the best way to discuss this, because we live in those.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't think the school would discipline him, would discipline that student at all.
I don't think so. Probably I would say you're right there.
And I probably wouldn't either. I probably wouldn't discipline that player if it had already been all taken care of in court, and legally he's allowed to play, and there's now
Because it's
let's
not a
say
team
this.
offense. Is that why? Because it wasn't a team offense. It was a life offense. A personal
Yeah, and I
offense.
guess discipline is a tricky word, because we would have a discussion about it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I would probably require him to speak to the team in some way, and to apologize for his character.
Yeah,
For-
I
you
mean,
know,
because that is a standard.
Because you are still representing.
Sure.
I mean,
Absolutely.
he may have had a Meg's hat on while he did it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still, and even if he doesn't,
So I guess that's
even if
fine.
he doesn't, somebody's going to come up to you and say, "That's a baseball player."
Yeah,
Right. Like what happened Friday night.
right.
That's what I'm feeling here.
Yeah.
Is that if that's the way this kid's going to be perceived, then I do have a responsibility to do something.
Yeah,
Whatever that something is
Right.
something that I determine.
yeah. I agree with that. I mean, you can't just sweep it under the rug. I guess the only thing that I've ever been, let's see, am I thinking about this right? Nothing's ever happened outside of season. So, but it's the same concept, because the argument is, well, if you fail a drug test during season and you're not able to play, you're hurting the team. So there's going to be, by not being available because of a decision you made, there's going to be consequences for that. The same thing is true in the scenario that you had there.
Well, I mean, it's just like if you get an F during the season, you're not going to be able to play, and that hurts the team.
Right.
But if you get an F during football season, during a different season, and you bring that grade up by baseball season, you get to play.
Yeah.
Like we're not continuing that punishment because you got an F in the fall.
Right.
Right.
True. Yeah.
And so there is no baseball punishment for getting an F or for getting 2 Fs or whatever it is, not having the in the off season.
Maybe there should be.
That's what I'm saying. Is like should there be I mean, is academics important year round, or is it just important during the sport that you're playing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of culture am I? So that's part of. I mean, like that's all. Like the standards issue, the consistency in the standards issue is something that it's like. Is it just while the kid's playing for me, or is this something? Are we creating something bigger here? That, which is more of a helping someone understand that, as Augie says, this is about life.
Yeah.
This isn't just about baseball.
Right. That's a slippery slope, though, because I think you can get yourself in trouble by,
all of a sudden putting your hands in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
There might be some parents that that don't like that and fight against that. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, there's definitely a discussion to be had about that.
Right.
And about behavior going forward, and how they didn't live up to that. I mean, to me, that type of behavior is well defined in our our handbook. That there's no doubt that if someone did that they wouldn't be living up to the standard that
Right.
they're expected to be as a Megs baseball player. So. If they did it during season, it would probably be more severe. So I don't know. Maybe that's not right. Maybe it should be all the way around. That's a good question. I've not been.
Well, I think another one of the problems that we have, and I guess another one of the variables is you don't always really know who's going to come out and play for you until
True.
the season comes, right? I mean, you kind of do.
They may not. They may just say.
But I mean, if it's a kid who's getting in trouble,
anyway.
yeah. I mean, if it's a kid who,
well, I don't know that you can punish them. There's not much. You don't have much authority outside of the
Sure.
confines of your season anyway.
you really don't.
Yeah. What was our topic?
Well, let's go micro or macro level here a little bit. So I mentioned at the beginning, there's different perspectives. There's coach's perspective, there's parents' perspective, and there's players' perspective. So when it comes to discipline and having standards and holding one another accountable to those standards, from a coach's perspective, I would say that our goal is that we're trying to build the culture of our program, and teach. And inside of that, that's for whatever sport we're playing, but also inside that teaching life lessons as well. So this is what we want our program to be like, but it's also what we want the players who play in our program to be like when they go out from here and they're adults. So that's our perspective and the reason why we have discipline and want to hold these players to standards. I would say from the players' perspective, they want things to be fair, right?
Maybe.
From what their perspective of fairness
which
is,
they
right?
usually think it's
right.
equal.
I don't really think they want things to be equal either, because if
That's true.
like let's just take playing time for example. You got 18 kids on your team. Okay, we're gonna give everybody equal playing time.
Well, it depends on where
Guess
you're
what
at.
that means, guys?
Depends on where you're at in the pecking order.
18 divided
that
by
18 guy probably says, yeah, it should be equal.
Sure, yeah, right. 18 divided by 7 innings. Okay, here we go. That's
I'm
everybody's
not even sure we could do it.
18.
under
No, I
baseball
mean
rules.
it's impossible. But they want fairness. They want consistency. I would say they want you to be consistent as a coach, and I would say that they probably want the opportunity to well, if they screw up, they want to be able to redeem themselves somehow, right? I mean, they want to.
Hope so.
Yeah, you don't want them to get. Hopefully, you don't want them to just give up, right? That they want that, and you want that as well as a coach. And then from a parent's perspective, when it comes to discipline and setting standards on the team and disciplining their kids, this
What
one
do
gets
they want?
tricky.
What should they
What
want?
do they want? Yeah, I would almost say that they want opportunities for their child. And so sometimes when discipline is required or the child is facing a punishment for some reason, on a team punishment, there's disappointment probably in the child for whatever they did, but also that desire for consistency. Well, like, if you're going to do this with my child, you better do it with, right? I mean, so when I say opportunity, like how is this going to diminish my child's opportunities on the team? I mean, I would say that's probably a thought in the process somewhere.
Sure.
Right. I don't know. That's a hard one to define, but because there's probably a multiple variety depending on the parenting style.
And
right?
that's why rules are good.
Yeah.
For coaches and people, because they don't have to discern those, what happened and what they're going to do. It's already laid out black and white.
Yeah.
So there's an advantage to that, and that's why they exist, and I understand that. But at the same time, I guess some of the rules that, I would say that are in place, I don't necessarily agree with. And that would be true for our district, our state, everything, our judicial system, everything. I mean, that's just how I feel. I think, and you said earlier, you don't want a kid to give up. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes the punishments that we hand out
sometimes leaves them with no choice, right?
A kid to give up and to not have anything left to work for. The ability to redeem themselves are gone. You end up taking them out of an environment that's good for them, and that might be the saving grace for who they become as a person, 10, 15 years down the road. So that's but I'm going to play devil's advocate on that one. Okay.
How much do I concern myself with that individual at the expense of my team?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And my responsibility as a coach isn't just to you as an individual. Mm-hmm. My first responsibility is to who we are as a collective. Mm-hmm. And who we are as a collective is this team. And if your presence is a negative force on this team, I may need to remove you from this team.
That's true. And the punishment that you're receiving, that might be removal from the team, what does that do for the remaining players and their pursuit of being good people? Maybe that lets them know, hey,
that there are consequences.
There's consequences. Yeah. That's a major consequence.
Mm-hmm.
And just as we talk about standards, as coaches, our school district has standards as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, going to a public school is it's a right in a way, but it's a right that's been won, and it's a valuable, it's a valuable experience. It's worth it. So, it's not too much to say that if you're going to go to this school, you're going to live up to this standard.
Oh yeah.
And the same would be true for any other level that we're talking about. So
we wouldn't want
that's a fair point.
We wouldn't want no standard like in our military.
No standard. You got to have a standard.
Yeah. I mean, there's for anything that's worth having. There are expectations.
What if the kid's not a negative influence? Or you say just because they did something that prompts them to be removed from the team that makes them a negative influence? Or what if that's just who they are outside of the team? But when they come back, they're positive. The kid, their teammates love them, and they obviously impact the team in positive ways on the field, and so that's like that's where the black and white gets you, because you're eliminating that possibility too. It's like
so you got someone who acts like a turd in general, but they're a good player, they're a decent teammate when they're there and help the team. And the kids actually do like them, even though they're kind of a turd.
Yeah.
Right? And when I say they act like a turd outside of the sport, it's like they actually do get into trouble a little bit, right? Whether it be from the law or whatever, for one reason. But in terms of being on the team, they're not a cancer to the team.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably always you probably will always have some scenarios like that, I would guess.
Yeah.
And on a lot of teams where I don't know. There's nothing there for me to discipline from a team standpoint, right? I mean, as long as when you're here, this is the standard. We're not doing that stuff while you're here, and so and as long as he's living inside of that.
Well, true.
It's not having an impact on our team culture. I think in that situation, it becomes a situation for me personally as a human being, as a coach, as a father figure, and whatever, to try to be as good of an influence as I can on this individual,
right.
And say, look, you do really well when you're here. I mean, you have your moments, but you do really well when you're here. Why can't you transition that? You transfer that to other aspects of life, because it may seem silly now, it may seem like mischievous stuff now, but it's going to catch up with you someday.
Yeah.
It's hard to speak again because it's hypothetical. Like I'm thinking I have nobody in mind. I'm trying to describe something that's not really happening, but you can see it happening pretty easily.
And I don't know what Eastern's policy is. I'm sure it's very similar. So at Meg's, if you fail a drug test, alcohol, whatever the drug is, whatever drugs they test for, I'm sure they could pick up several drugs, but I think you're suspended for 7 days. You have to do some community service. If you fail a second drug test, you're removed from the team for 90 days.
That's a school rule.
Yeah, a district approved.
District rule, yeah. And you said team.
Team, yes. Well, from any athlete, like I would say.
Extracurricular.
Yeah, so I'd say if you're at the end of basketball season and you fail a drug test.
That carries over into the next team, too.
90 days. And then your third infraction is.
Expulsion.
No, it's not expulsion. It's you can't from sports. You can't play. You can't play sports for the rest of your high school career. So
the rest of your career.
Rest of your career, all right. So in that scenario, we have a kid that is good for the team. The players like him, positive, but for whatever reason, he fails these drug tests, repeatedly, breaks rules. It's a school rule.
Yeah.
It's a school rule. You break it. I used to kind of tongue-in-cheek talk about Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon was a wide receiver in the NFL that the Browns drafted in the supplemental draft with a second-round pick because, surprise, he couldn't stop smoking marijuana, and that followed him throughout his career. And I believe he would have been the best receiver, maybe the best football player. He was just, if you've never seen him play, he's just a freak athlete, great receiver. All he had to do for 12 months, if he could just not smoke pot for 12 months, he would have got $40 million in his pocket. And he went and smoked all the pot that he wanted after that, what I mean? But he could not do it. He just could not control himself. And it's like...
It's not addictive, though, Pat.
Well, I'm just the choice,
kidding.
regardless of whether it is or not. Even if it was,
I know people say that it's not, but that psychologically, there's something. Maybe
Listen,
the
for $40
substance
million,
itself isn't.
I think I could.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I could sit in a rehab center and just have withdrawals nonstop.
Just stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just bad decisions,
Right.
You know, on his part, cost him a long NFL career and a lot of money. So, like, I don't really have much sympathy for him. And you know, you could say the same for, you know, you failed it once, you failed it twice. Come on, man, 3 times. You're going to fail this 3 times. You know they're testing you because
Well, and you know what the consequences are.
And
It's not a surprise.
Right. So all you have to do is not.
Yeah.
So it's like this is bad. But that part of my personality, you know, that we talked
Yeah.
about getting.
So I'm sitting over here going, yeah, I'm with you 100%. You screwed up. Strike 3, you're out.
I would like an opportunity. I would like an opportunity to punish that individual as the coach. give me one opportunity.
1-on-1. Just
Yeah.
let's go in here and I'm going to punish you.
Yeah, like, you know, give me that opportunity. And I feel like I could provide a punishment that might change his decision making. Right? So maybe that's on me to not do it after the first time he is punished. But I feel
because what
like
you're probably thinking too is, well, now he knows he can't play any sports the rest of his high school career, so I'm just going to become a pothead.
and maybe he quit school.
Maybe, right. I've got
this-
no other consequence that can possibly be given to me, so I'm just going to go ahead and smoke it. I'm going to go ahead and do this, right? I mean, that might be the way some people think. You know, so it works.
He doesn't have
an opposite.
He doesn't have
result.
the opportunity to redeem himself, like you mentioned before.
Yeah,
You know, he can't come back.
yeah.
Or she. I don't know why we keep blaming the boys.
Well, because you and I coach a sport of boys. I mean, yeah.
But and that's true. Like that starts as soon as you get into junior high. Any sport.
Yeah, scholastic sports.
So
yeah.
you could in theory fail 3 drug tests before you get out of junior high and not be allowed to play.
And it carries over into high school too.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, you know, at the same time, it's like I can't stand up and say we should get rid of that rule because, you know, as I said, but again, that's only for student athletes,
Right.
know? So it's tricky. I'm not advocating for a society without rules. We have to have some rules.
Yeah. Well, I think the tricky part is where we're responsible for a team where we have our rules, and if it was just us writing the rules and saying live by these, and then we're carrying them out, that's one thing. But in addition to our rules, we have school district rules. In addition to the school district rules, you've got state rules. You know, and so there's layers to the rules.
Right.
And that's kind of driven the majority of our conversation here so far. But let's just go to the team rules. Let's just do. I'll give you a scenario. I'll give you a team rules and they're not going to be nearly as serious as doing drugs. But like we have team rules. We're like, I want you to be on time. Promptness is a priority, right? If you're gonna be on this team, you're going to be here on time.
Yeah. And
you're going to communicate if you can't be on time. So here's a scenario. You've got a player who is usually a really hard worker. Usually really reliable, and he has a week, let's say second, third week of the season, where he shows up 15 minutes late to practice 3 days in a row.
Oh.
All right?
Okay.
So each time he has a different excuse. Traffic was bad, or we don't really have a ton of traffic, but we did there for a while in Tuppers Plains when they were doing that road work. I had to finish up a school project, or my ride was late. I don't drive myself, and I got I had to take my little kids home after school, or my little siblings home, because these are some actual scenarios that I actually can think of that I've.
So did he communicate?
No. This is what you got. This is what you got after you said, "Why are you late again?" for the 3rd time, right? So all 3 days. So he's not being disrespectful per se, but he also doesn't seem to grasp the fact that this behavior impacts the team, because when you're out there, the team's already getting started and they're going through team activities, and you show up late. What are they doing? Oh, he's late again, right? And they're chatting about it, right? Mm-hmm. And so his teammates you've noticed that some teammates are quietly frustrated about this, right? And maybe even frustrated at you as a coach because they don't feel like you're holding him to the same standard as you would everybody else. So now game day
happens.
So let's say this happens like in the middle of the season. So game day is Friday, right? This happened a couple times during the week. Normally this kid's in the lineup. Mm-hmm. So as a baseball coach, do I send a message to him and to the team by not putting him in the lineup? Do I go ahead and start him and handle the issue privately, one-on-one? Do I give him a different kind of consequence, like that's not related to playing time or whatever, like make him run?
That's it.
Right. Things like that. Like so. What that's the scenario.
The how is. I mean, I think that's where everyone's going to have a different answer.
But these things are actually going to happen. This is a real scenario that will happen a lot.
But you use one that I'm on top of because we talk about over communicating in that scenario. So none of our players are going to show up late and not know that they weren't supposed to communicate why they were going to show up late.
Yes.
But let's say
ahead of time before the season even begins.
Yeah.
Right.
I may give them one and be like, the conversation, why you gotta let me know why you just can't not be here. Mm-hmm. The next time that happened, I've got this thing we've been doing at Meg's since I graduated. It's called a Marauder Reminder. Which a Marauder Reminder is a bear crawl.
We have bows and arrows.
Bows and arrows.
Bow and arrow. You ever do a bow and arrow?
I don't know.
Go ahead. I'll finish your.
Okay.
Finish
so
your
a Marauder Reminder is a bear crawl from right field foul pole to left field foul pole.
Okay.
That's one. So the second time that happened, especially in a row, like it would have been like that's just and I'm ticked off about that because I mean you can't if I can't trust that, and then if it continued to happen, I'm not afraid to. I mean, if
it's chronic.
Yeah. I mean, you have to do that, right?
Yeah. There's
now being prompt is a standard.
Yeah.
Being on time, over communicating, those are standards that we have in our
clearly
program.
defined.
Clearly defined. The consequence, you won't find the term. This is like code red.
Right.
A few good men. You won't find the term Marauder Reminder in our handbook, but guys know what it is.
Yeah.
And normally we'll do half of one at some point in our tryout period, just so everyone knows what it'll be like. Just to
Yep.
And it I'm not held to one, but we have this conversation about you don't want to exercise the pain, the behavior out of them because that gives negative, but we're not running, so. But it is the same deal.
Yeah.
But, the trick is when something like that happens that you don't harp on very much, that you're not on top of, like communication and being on time. So like one that's on the outer layers of something that doesn't normally happen, and then you have to decide, okay, how am I going to handle this? Mm-hmm. That was just that was a softball lobbed up to me there, but
yeah. But I mean, and I think it's important too that there's a standard. You broke the standards. Like we have a priority about this. And it's called communication. We wouldn't have to deal with it. Like if I could have explained to the team, hey, we're starting right now, and you'll notice that so and so isn't here. And the reason why he's not here is because he's communicated to me, and this is why. Now that may still not be very good reason, right? Like your reason that you gave might just be an excuse, or it might be something that.
Well, so that's the first layer, right?
Yeah,
Good point.
right.
Because
But at least you communicated. Not, I'll give you that, but you're still going to pay a punishment for being late, because late promptness is also part of our rule here, right? And so, but I think, you know, again, if the team sees that you're consistent with that every time, then you're not going to have that little chit chat frustration, right? The little quietly frustrated point that I made earlier as well. I think that's, yeah. I mean, and then once the punishment, I mean, once they've done their Marauder reminder, and once that punishment's been, you know, hey, you've paid the cost, it's over.
yeah,
It's over. It's over with, so, you know, and hopefully the purpose then of the punishment is that you will become more disciplined, right? I don't use discipline and punishment in the same, like those aren't synonymous terms. I gave you a punishment to help you with your own discipline. Discipline is something that you have. Each one of us have it, and we either just choose to use it, or
we're either good at it or
we're either
not.
good at it or not.
It's a skill.
And so the whole purpose for punishment is to govern you in an area that you're not being very good at governing yourself. Right now, you're not governing your time very well, and so I'm going to help you with that. And here's how I'm going to help you. You're going to run 4 bow and arrows. All right.
So what's a bow and arrow?
Bow and arrow is you foul pole, jog to the next foul pole. When you get to that foul pole, you tap it and sprint to the next one straight across the field. Right. Bow, arrow. Bow, arrow.
Gotcha.
Right? And it hurts. It hurts.
Yep. Physically
Yeah.
and mentally.
Yeah. And we're not running those in our baseball games, so I don't care. We'll use that for a punishment. We're running around bases.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not running 60 yards in a baseball game, coach.
That's not 60 yards.
It'd be more.
Yeah, that's every bit.
About
That's every bit of
120 yards.
100 and some. Yeah,
120 yards.
Yeah. So that's a team scenario. Like those are examples of where we got to have some standards on our teams, right? I mean,
So I had one year, a couple guys got in trouble for something, and actually missed 2 or 3 days of first days of practice. So they missed that because the school dictated that they missed that.
oh yeah,
Yeah. So I guess this does kind of, but again, to me that impacted the team because they weren't there. So it
Yeah.
was something I had to do. So they made up 9 hours of conditioning, work, things that we had been doing for those 3
Yep.
days. They made that up for 30 minutes after every practice, and we
Yeah.
kept track of it. And so they were not at any less conditioning or,
Right.
or tryout time than anyone else, because after every practice they made it up. So
Yep.
that was something that we did there.
I had a player that had to do that one time.
I think I can Marauder remind the addictive qualities of marijuana right out of somebody. I
You
really
probably
do.
could. You probably could.
Have you ever bear crawled 100 yards? That's rough.
Probably not.
That's tough.
No.
Have you seen the movie?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
And my mind went to it as you're
Oh,
the
You
kid's
can't-
blindfolded.
Yes.
It's a Christian movie.
Yes, it is. Face the Titans, Face the Giants, something like that.
Is it?
Maybe.
I
don't know.
I think you got Remember the Titans and Face
The Little Giants.
Little Giants mixed in there.
I feel
with
like that is something. It is.
But yeah,
close to
the
that.
coach had him. Was he bear crawling with somebody on his back, or just?
The funny thing is,
he was
I've
just
never
doing
seen
it?
the movie. Just that
the clip?
So I don't know what
Yeah,
the
I'm not
context
sure what the
is,
whole
but he
movie's
didn't think he was being punished.
Didn't
or
believe that they could.
His confidence was low.
I think it was their team was. He felt like his team was going to get trounced in this week's game, and he was mad at the kid for saying that. And
So he blindfolded him.
Blindfolded him, put him on the goal line, and said,
Put a kid on his back.
You're going to go 40 yards here. Yeah,
Death
bear
crawl.
Yeah, death
Yeah.
crawl 40 yards, and
The kid's like, no way.
and he's like, I can't do it, and he's like, let's see
Don't
it.
worry about it. I just want you to keep going.
Yeah.
I want to give me
Yeah.
everything you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When
We're not
he
gonna-
collapsed and he told him to take the blindfold off, you're across the goal line,
Yeah.
100 yards.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
And sometimes, so there you go. There's a conditioning type punishment, but it taught a lesson, right?
You know the best part about
And
that?
so that I like that.
The scene was like, here, because the guys are like, at first they were like,
And then the team,
and then they
got
were like
behind them
cheering.
when they realized what the coach was doing.
Yeah. And then they were dumbfounded. Like they're like, you know, just
Yeah.
couldn't believe what
Yeah.
they just saw. They were just all silent. Like, what
Yeah.
the heck? He did the death crawl for 100 yards. Good stuff.
And we saw the 40% principle there.
So things like that can bring teams together too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll give you another scenario. I know we got 55. We're 55 minutes in here. I'll give you another scenario.
All right. I should have presented that my preseason to you as a scenario, but that's okay.
So this is, that's true. So let's say you've got a talented underclassman, like so talented that they deserve to start on your varsity baseball team.
Yep.
Okay. And so you know that they've got the skills to be a major contributor, especially as they progress. By the time they're a senior, they're probably going to be a stud, right? But in practice, they're a little immature, right? Body language is poor. Attitude sometimes isn't good. Sulks when they're being correct. Not very coachable, right? You know, when you get on to them about hustling, you know, they'll do it, but kind of roll their eyes, right? So it's an attitude thing here. So again, this player isn't disrespectful in words. They're not breaking a team rule. I mean, maybe they are, but they're not outright talking back. They're not late. They're on time. They're doing the things they need to do. But the attitude is noticeable, and again, teammates are picking up on it.
Yep.
And a couple of the older players maybe even come to you and say, "Hey, coach, why you let him get away with that?" Right? But on game day,
He's in the lineup.
he's in the lineup.
Yep. Well,
What do you do?
The first thing I'd say to
Or
those,
is he in the lineup? Is that part of your punishment?
first thing I'd say to those guys that came to me, I'd say, "Why are you letting him get away with it?"
Yeah, I would go there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you're seeing that as a coach, me, if I'm seeing that, I'm having a conversation with that kid, and talking about what I'm seeing, what he's feeling, how that impacts the team, how it's going to impact the team going forward, and it's behavior, it's negative behavior, it's correct.
That's a really good point. You said ask him what he's feeling. Like in this moment, like do you realize when I tell you to run out a hard 90 when you pop a ball up and you just kind of do you realize that, like, do you even realize that you're doing that you rolled your eyes, or that your body language is negative?
Yeah.
And if you do realize it, what are you thinking in that moment? Like, help me here. Help me understand.
I had to have that conversation with Jake, not necessarily in the same context, but just, hey, you're my son, so you're used to responding to me in certain ways, but you have to think about the way that you're responding to me on the baseball field when we're around the team, how that's impacting everyone else, and respond accordingly. Knowing that how you respond to me is impacting the other guys.
Yeah.
Because they're not my sons. They, when we go home, they're not going to be talking to me the same way. But how do players need to talk to their coaches when they're on the field? Vice versa. I'm gonna. I'm gonna miss coaching that old boy.
Yeah. 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 Those are not always fun conversations to have when you're coaching them, but you wish that you could have them again.
And not that he was ever totally disrespectful to me or anything. It's just,
It's that kind of stuff. It's the kind of stuff that I was talking about, right?
It could be.
I mean,
just
all right. I mean,
aloof, sometimes.
Yeah.
Just,
yeah.
No,
He's too comfortable with you, right? Because the other kids aren't as comfortable with you
Right.
as coach-player relationship. But son, dad, that comfort level sometimes will cause you to respond in a way that's different than you would respond to like you would respond to, Coach Yates on the football field, right? Wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
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 Well,
So,
how would you handle it?
and, I mean, because you're
I
talking.
think if the behavior continues and it's not
Well-
corrected, then the conversation does steer toward, look, I need your best.
Yeah.
If you're not giving me your best now, you're not going to give me your best in the game.
Yeah, and for me, I think I evaluate it like this in my own mind, and for me, it's short term versus long term, right? Like, and it's a similar type of scenario: short term or long term. What's more important to me? Talent, an individual's talent, or my team's culture.
Yeah.
What's more important to me?
And that's
my
a good
short term
point,
talent response would be ignore it because we need them to win. But what's that doing in the bigger picture?
And going full circle, with my argument of wanting to, eventually you have to think about how the behavior that you're allowing is impacting, your program.
Yeah.
Not just your team, not just the other players on that team, but the players on that team 5 years from now.
The ones who are going to be coming up through.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's just life. That sometimes the cost of other people succeeding is making it very difficult for a person that has screwed up not to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't make it, if they do quit, they do drop out of school because they're not able to redeem themselves or whatever the situation is, it's unfortunate, but when
they still had
when
the same chance that everybody else who's still on the
and when
team
they get
has.
beyond, as the coach, you're not going to be able to,
Hold their hand.
and you're not going to be able to take that punishment on
No.
your own shoulders for him and say, I'm going to punish him, and
Yeah.
no one else is going to punish him. They're going to have to answer to a different set of rules.
Yeah.
And a lot stronger.
Yeah,
rules.
5 years from now, coach is going to be employer, boss,
Yes.
supervisor.
And you really can't, like as an employee, you can't break any rules
Right.
3 times,
Right.
and expect to, I mean, if you
keep your job?
if you no call, no show,
Right.
3 times,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so that's a life lesson that we're trying to help you with
right,
as an athlete here. And if I don't have any consequence for it, you're going to have a job someday and think that that's okay.
yeah,
I mean, maybe not. I mean, but I mean, 2 different worlds, but
yeah,
same principle.
right.
Yeah.
It's tough
It is.
business we're in.
It is, and it's
All we do is make lineup cards.
it doesn't. I mean, I don't know that we solved anything here, but I think we illustrated the importance of you have to have. I mean, obviously we have to have a standard, and I believe that it's got to be high. I believe that if you're doing something that is a privilege that not everybody gets to do, then the standards are pretty high. Something we didn't even talk about is the ways this discipline factor has changed over the years as culture, as generations have changed, like old school versus new school, old school coaching versus new school coaching, right? And contrast the past approaches to this issue with what we're doing today. Like even inside myself, the different ways that I handle things today from what I did when I first started coaching, let alone old school coaches versus today's coaches. And
Well,
should some things stay the same? What should evolve, right? What?
yes. The answer is yes. Right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
But
The answer's another 20 minutes on the
it's
podcast.
It's something that you have to think about.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Because you and one of the reasons for that is because you're not. There are lots of caveats here. and I'm going to speak generally, and it's not, you can't just sweep everybody on this, but like for the most part, 50 years ago, if there was a disciplinary thing that took place on a team from a coach, the parent just trusted that coach, right? Like you must have screwed up, right?
And 50 years ago, you didn't have Pat Martins that said, well, you've already been punished. If the coach punished you, you better hope your dad didn't find out that the coach punished you.
Exactly.
Because when you come home, you're going to
get it anyway.
More.
Yeah. But today you have less of that. You may have that a little bit today. Again, it's not everybody. Not everybody parents this way. But I think you certainly have more than you did 50 years ago. More parents defending their kids, even sometimes their bad behavior.
Sure.
And not trusting you as much in your punishment or your discipline, and wanting to know, is this really fair? How's this going to impact my kids' opportunities? I'm going to keep a close eye on you, and you better do the exact same thing with other kids now, right? We have a lot more parents going to the principal's office today than we did in 1998, and I got paddled quite a bit in elementary school. My parents didn't even know it.
And you can't do that now.
Right. Yeah. Let alone not communicate with them.
We need it.
But I mean, I needed it. I did. I deserved it.
Yeah.
And I got better because of it.
Yes.
I got to write my name on the paddle, big long wooden paddle with the hole in
Oh,
the
really?
end of it, so that less
That was
wind
kind
resistance.
of a pro of going and getting
Get your
paddled.
name on it. My name was on Mrs. Stearns' paddle 3 or 4 times. No.
Oh, shoot.
No, I wasn't proud of it at the time. There's a healthy fear of that punishment, and it helped keep us in line.
There is a lot of behavior going on these days because there is no fear of consequence.
There's no respect of some authority. No one has authority over me to tell me what I am doing wrong.
Right.
And here's the truth. We are all wrong in some way or fashion.
Naturally.
And we need someone to tell us when we're wrong. We need someone to help us get on the right path when we're on the wrong path. We are not walking perfectly. But the problem is we don't want anybody to tell us that we're wrong and correct us on anything. That is the human problem. That is Romans chapter 1, 2, and the beginning of Romans 3, which I've been preaching on at our church. So it's fresh in my mind. So, yeah. So the moral of the story is, after an hour of talking, read your Bible.
Yes, that's it.
That'll help you develop some discipline.
That's it. You're right. That's a good call. That's a good call. Yeah. That's a standard.
It is.
If you can live up to that standard, you'll fit in the Megs baseball program.
That's right. Yeah, that's the truth. That is the truth.
All right, Coach. Good talking to you.
Good talking to you. Subscribe.
If you have any
Share
thoughts,
the
let us know.
podcast.
Reach out to us. Tell us how wrong we were. And we'll see you next week.